We have not one, but two traders who lost more than $800,000. Someone turned $28,000 into $303,000 in 4 trading days. And we have a trader who went from a high of $90,000 to a low of just $10.43. And we are starting off with a huge gain by Pretty Boy Bill. He turned $1,000 into $50,000 in the past 2 weeks, trading a new strategy and switching to cash account. He secured the profits and moved 30k to long term. As we can see, he started on November the 10th with a gain of 2.5k, which is quite huge when we consider he started with just $1,000. Anyway, in 7 trading days he only had one red day, and consequently his chart looks very consistent. He's up by so much because he was trading 0 days till expiry at the money calls and puts on QQQ. The strategy in specific is just waiting for the morning move to take place and push us higher or lower from the mid-Bollinger Band, and to go into calls or puts once the momentum has slowed. The probability for a reversal is at its highest back towards the mean. If you catch one of those moves on the day, you can log out and be done. Without that discipline, you lose it right back to the market. On the days with clear trends, when it doesn't look like it will really inverse in the morning, he instead focuses on flipping at the money options right at the open during the push, holding no more than 30 minutes. In the beginning he had to risk the entire $1,000, so the trades were by all means risky. After that day though, it's been smaller positioning. Otherwise he's been trading for almost 3 years now and was basically break even up until now, and in the past week he's up by another 6.5k. Huge respects to him for trading so consistently, and hopefully he can keep it up. And if you're not already subscribed, it would mean a ton to me if you just press that button. It's free and you'll help me out a lot at reaching my goal of 400 subscribers. Thank you. Anyway, next up we have an insane loss by More Chromo. How to cope with an $838,000 loss. No fancy picks or anything, happened at the beginning of rising rates months ago, but he took an $838,000 loss on a few stock trades, not options, that were growth stocks he didn't think were this high risk. That's 70% of his worth and was 10 years of his life. How do you guys cope with this? Every time he hears anything about finance, he sinks into depression. Oh, and these are realized post-tax losses. He didn't share all of his positions, but one of them was Nvidia, and judging by his past comments, I think he was also invested in BNTX and Palantir. This loss is just gutting. I mean, he lost more than 800k on stocks, and it's not like he was rich. He basically lost 10 years of his savings in less than a year. Sounds like you still got 30% to get back on track, regards. In 10 years you made or saved more than what the average person here does in their whole life. It sucks, but do it again. You'll be fine. Better than most here. Kinda like taking a It's done. Now flush it and move on. Staring at the in the toilet won't reverse the process back into filet mignon. No need to stare at the toilet daily. And just one day after the previous trader posted his loss, trader by the name of CreepyVap7926 posted his insane loss. How I'm coping with an 870k plus loss. As we can see, year to date he's down by 57% or $871,917.72. He started the year with around $1.5 million and now he has a little more than 600k. So he's doing a bit better than the previous trader, and just like him, all of his losses are also stocks. He works his day job and makes what he needs to get by. His losses are retirement accounts, so no tax losses to write off. He has an idea of what he needs to do to get back in the game. He's seen how big wins can come post-crisis, just like in the dot-com crash, housing crash and COVID crash. It took him 15 years to grow his account to more than 100k, and we're seeing the tail end of what he's done so far. The best is yet to come. And here is how he grew his account to more than $1 million. He firstly got it to 6 figures in mutual funds. Then he took a chance that the COVID crash was temporary, and he went in big for his standards on Tesla. He made gains that were impossible at the time. He tried to get in on GameStop, but he missed the big run-up. But he caught the run-up in AMC, and he whittled away his gains from them until now. He made this post in response to the previous trader's loss, to let them know it's okay and that it's not the end of the world. He's coping by owning his mistakes. mistakes, prideful investments with the hope that Internet 3.0 trend would take off, Tesla, Meta, Matterport, etc. He didn't set stop losses and he ate crow for it. He sold much of it for a nice sized loss, so be it, accept it and move on. He realizes that he's still better off than when he started. He'll regroup what's left and carry on. Well, this was quite an inspirational message, and I hope that him and the previous trader make their losses back. Next up, we have an insane gain by A-Train1189, 28k to 303k in 4 trading days. Thanks Google. He made such an insane gain because he bought Alphabet call options with a striking price at $95 and an expiration date on November the 18th. He bought those options at 42 cents and sold them at $2.50. Then he doubled down with calls with an expiration date on December the 2nd and the 9th with a striking price at $102 and $105 with 185k, and he already sold that position as well. And obviously he decided to make more plays. He bought 1060 Apple put options with a striking price at $149 and an expiration date on November the 25th, and on this play he's up by 269% or $114,439.40. He bought them for 40 cents on Wednesday morning, didn't sell them on the initial drop on Wednesday when they were selling for 70 to 80 cents, and was kicking himself because they were down 50% to end the day. Well, congrats on an incredibly lucky play. Anyway, next we have a huge loss by Dirk the Mailman. I didn't hear no bell. As we can see, he's down by 99.76% or $31,124.67, and is left with just $75.33. Looking at his chart, we can see that he did make some profitable plays at the start, but then his account just took a nosedive and then slowly bled out. He's down by so much because he bought calls in the bull market and puts in the bear. He had a big Tesla call in January. He was up by 10k and the next day it was gone. Since then, he's made the wrong call on everything. He's a mailman and works 70 hours a week since COVID decimated the workforce. This was stimulus checks and money he got from selling a car. Damn, hopefully he somehow makes it back, or at least doesn't lose more of his money. Next up, we have another huge loss by George Jenkins. He tried investing for a couple of months, then let it sit. And it looks like he started with around 27k in January of 2021, and he almost immediately lost half of his account. Then he almost made a comeback just to slowly lose all of his money, and now he has around 1.4k. So here is what happened. He invested in AMC at $9, sold it at $13, bought back in at $10, held until $5 for 2 months and sold right before it busted. He also invested in a shady penny stock, doubled his money, put everything in Wish at $13 and held until $1.5. That's about it, and now he's going to make his comeback. And to make that happen, he's equally split into Madman, Block and Cloudflare. But at least he considers this loss to have been a learning experience. Well, I wish him good luck with his comeback. Correct title: I tried gambling for a couple of months, then let it sit. Anyway, next we have a huge gain by USmell, and I love you for it. 0 days till expiry for the win. 1k to 24k in 59 days. He withdrew 6k to lock in some gains so his wife's boyfriend doesn't kick him out. But someday he'll be the man of the house. Someday. These are all SPX weekly 0 days till expiry or next day expiration options. His hit rate is only 53.3%, but pretty consistently larger gains than losses. And he'll make an update at 100k or the homeless shelter. At first it was raw dog gambling. 1k doesn't go very far. Once it broke 5k, he's using progressively smaller position sizing as a percentage of account value, so that losses are limited and he can sustain more of them consecutively. He's had up to 4 consecutive losses and 6 consecutive gains. His losses are usually 100% per trade, but his gains were averaging more than 100%, and the only way he was closing a gain below 100% is if he felt with hit support or resistance that couldn't be broken. I honestly can't say if this is a good strategy strategy or just gambling. And last but not least, we have a huge loss by Ginkito. He finally his Robinhood account. When can he expect his WallStreetBets plaque in mail? He started with around 40k and made most of his buys during close of 2020, so returns by May 2021 were juicy. He was mostly invested in airlines, Apple and ARKG, and at the peak he was up by around 145% or 53k. Then his account started falling, and on February the 7th of 2022 he bought his first options contract. He also sold all of his Apple to buy Chinese tech stocks, hoping China would open up. And as we can see, right after that day his account became a lot more volatile. He lost most of his money on TUYA, Alibaba, SPY and Tesla puts in July. Then he lost on AutoNation puts through Q3 earnings, and SPY puts from November CPI reading finished him off. And now he's down by 99%. He went from a peak of around $90,000, which he made from investing in stocks, to just $10.43 after he touched options. Feels bad, especially when he decided to withdraw more money from his investment account to revive this gambling account again. And if you want to see how this trader turned just $2,000 into more than $1 million, click on the video that just popped up. And if that is not enough, smash the subscribe button as you will help me out a lot in reaching my goal of 400 subscribers by the end of this month. If you have any questions or recommendations, leave them in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.